Yo and hello everybody, Mike here. Welcome to Bench Clear Media. We're going to do a little talking tonight live about the baseball era committees. They are going to announce in just a few minutes who, if anybody, is going to get into the 2023 class of the Baseball Hall of Fame. And I love talking about the Hall of Fame. It's one of my favorite times of year, both now and during the writer's ballot announcements. But one of my best friends that we text all the time about this stuff is my boy Frank.
Hey, Frank. Now.
How are you, sir?
I'm excited. This is like the Super Bowl for me. I got to be honest, even more than the writer's ballot, because thanks to Twitter now, you can sort of see how people are progressing.
Yeah.
This thing, no one knows. Let's be honest. We don't know. Mike, you don't know. I don't know. We have our guesses, but this is exciting.
Well, we have someone else joining us as well. The man, the myth, the legend, Jake. Legends never die. Very festive tonight. Hey, Jake.
Hey, guys. I don't know where we're at in the discussion, but I have one thing to say. Fred McGriff, not in the hall. It's a crime, dog.
Worst joke ever I've heard.
How long did you wait to come up with that video? That joke.
I've been saying it for years.
Well, let me explain what's going to happen tonight. We are going to watch this live. I don't know if you guys have MLB TV out there. It'll be live there. In fact, here it is, just so we can watch the commercial. And we're just going to sit on the side and kind of comment on what we see when they are going to make the announcement. I'll unmute it and we can listen to them make the announcement live, just like you guys. And let's go first down the ballot. And Frank, maybe explain to everybody what the era committee is, who's on it, how many votes you have to get, just kind of the basics for everybody.
Sure. I mean, they changed it around a little, so correct me if I'm wrong here, but now there's 3 era committees, and what they're looking at right now today is going to be the contemporary, is what they call it. So it's people that are no longer on the ballot that had the greatest contribution post 1980 to baseball. And it used to be 10 players, but now there's only 8 players on the ballot. And I believe there's, correct me if I'm wrong, 16 still members of the committee. And it's all 16, right. 16 members. And instead of before they get 4 votes, they reduced it down to 3 votes, which is kind of insane to me. So you still have to get 75%. So at most, if in a perfect world, if they colluded, which I think happened last year, you can get 4 players in to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
All right. The guys on the committee, some guys, I'll name some of them. Greg Maddux, Ryan Sandberg is on the committee. Smoltz, Frank Thomas,
Chipper Jones.
Chipper Jones, okay.
Trammell, Whitaker, Kim
Trammell,
Ing, who's the general manager of the, I forgot who, of the Marlins. Peter Angelos, who's like no longer even owns the Orioles, is on the committee. The head of Elias, whatever sports bureau, is on the committee. 2 sports writers are on the committee. I'm trying to remember who else. You're testing me now. I didn't memorize the list. It's a mix.
So I've got it. I looked up in our little text group when we talked about it the other day. We've got Chipper Jones, Greg Maddux, Jack Morris, Ryan Sandberg, Lee Smith, Frank Thomas, and Alan Trammell for Hall of Fame members. Major League executives Paul Beeston, Theo Epstein, Art Moreno, Kim Ing, Dave St. Peter, and Ken Williams. And then the veteran media member historians are Steve Hurt, Lavelle Neal, and Susan Slusser.
Okay. So I need to be on that committee. The one thing I do like, I like the era committees. I think they've made some very egregious errors in inducting people in the past, but I think overall I like the idea of former players, Hall of Famers. Again, if somebody's going to know who that they played with or were teammates with that's Hall of Fame worthy, they're going to know. I think the writers have been right. I think the writers have done a really good job over the years in inducting the right people. Look, I'm a big hall guy. I think Frank's a small hall guy, I think, and Jake is a medium hall guy. So you've got 3 guys that all here talking to you guys about this, the Hall of Fame, that have different things. Who's on the ballot this year? Jake, do you have that in front of you, or Frank?
I can tell you it's Barry Bonds. It is Roger Clemens, Fred McGriff, Curt Schilling, Albert Bell, Rafael Palmeiro, Dale Murphy, and Don Mattingly. And I had to say, I have all their autographs right here to the side of me, just in case. I'm ready to go.
Jake, is there anybody on the list that you say absolutely not a Hall of Famer?
I think the one that is most clearly not, to me, is actually Don Mattingly. He's one of the what if players, but we don't deal in what ifs. We deal in what actually happened. So he's a clear no for me. I know there are a lot of diehard Yankee fans and people love Don Mattingly, but I don't see it from him.
You guys put in the comments too, who do you think on that list of potential electees tonight is an absolute no? I did a study, Jake, that I compared Mattingly and Puckett, almost identical. And their stats, their careers, and Puckett's like a no-doubter. And to me, for most people, and Mattingly's a no for most people. I was a no. And then I looked at that, and it didn't get me to where I was a yes, but it got me understanding why the call to action for Donnie was such a is so prevalent. Their stats are shockingly similar. It's pretty amazing. So go look at that. Kirby Puckett, of course he's a Hall of Famer. Don Mattingly's the same player, really. And they both got their careers kind of derailed due to injuries. Puckett's was more sudden, Mattingly's was more gradual. And so it's just an interesting comparison. Frank, is there anybody on this list that's an absolute no for you?
I have to agree with Jake 100%. Don Mattingly is a no. I mean, especially as a player. And I'm looking at the comparisons because you said a Puckett to Mattingly. I'm looking right now. And you're right. Puckett's number one comparison is Don Mattingly, which is interesting. I never realized that. But he's still a no. Someone just wrote he was the player of the 80s. I would argue almost that like Ricky Henderson to me was the player of the 80s. That's just me. And Mattingly had no postseason success, unlike Puckett. So he's the one no. I had to say it. I think Dale Murphy also to me is a no.
So the interesting name on here to me is Albert Don't Call Me Joey Bell. I remember watching Albert Bell, and if the Rangers were playing the Indians, I said, don't pitch to him. Like, just don't. Just walk him or hit him. He was such a feared hitter. His tenure was so short that I think his problem is longevity, and he didn't really reach any of the look at this. Chipper Jones was sick and could not take part in the voting today. He was replaced on the committee. Interesting. So with no Chipper.
That could hurt McGriff.
Right. Wow. Interesting. Okay.
That actually was like breaking news as part of the pre-show. That never happens.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame. Here's an interesting comment. Hall of Fame voters should not be able to collect memorabilia. I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. How do you get sick for this vote? Like you can just call it in, or
that's
just like they.
I'm sorry, no, that's happened before. I remember where, I remember because I'm Detroit, and Al Avila, who was the general manager, thank God no longer, subbed in at the last second at the winter committee. So this is at the winter meetings, as we've talked about, their vote right now, and there's plenty of qualified individuals there. So I'm sure they could find someone to jump in on that committee.
I mean, I know what was it, 2-3 years ago? I can't remember the exact year that the era committee didn't meet because they couldn't meet in person due to COVID. So they're big on the not phoning in kind of deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm getting some congrats on my TCU Horned Frogs making the college football playoff. It's unbelievable. No, we were picked to finish 7th in the Big 12 this year. So here we are, playing Michigan. Frank and I have to be enemies for a month, but
no, we don't.
Good. Yeah, you're a Michigan State guy, so it's all good. I'm a no on Mattingly. I would also not vote for Bell just because, if I only had 3 votes, that's who we need. That's what we need to do next, because we only got a few minutes till game time here. If you're 3 votes, if you had 3 votes, Frank, who are they going to?
McGriff, Schilling. I'm not voting a third.
Only 2. Okay.
Only 2.
Yeah, maximum of 3. Good point. Okay, Jake.
I agree with the first two on Frank. And if people have watched my channel at all, I've always been the anti-steroid guys, whatever. In my opinion, now that Ortiz is in, throw it out the window. One's in, put them all in. But the clean guys, McGriff, Schilling, I'm voting for. And then for the third, just to stick it to Bonds one more time, because I personally don't like him, Clemens for third.
I would go. It's actually tough. If you only have, I think there's a lot of deserving guys.
I agree.
I would do Bonds, Clemens, and I would do McGriff if I had my 3 votes. That's who I would vote for. I think McGriff has long been overlooked. He was one of the most steady, put him down for 25 to 30 home runs and 110 RBIs. I always thought of him as a great player when I was watching baseball during his career. Here is sorry, I got so many comments flying in here.
Can I say one thing real quick? I want to wish Bill, who I wish was here. I see he's on the chat. I know he's not feeling well. Bill, I hope you get better soon. We miss you.
Same.
Absolutely. He was supposed to be a part of this live stream with us, but he's sick. He's Chipper Jones in it. We're going to call it Jonesing it from now on. He's sick and can't be part of this. We're getting some votes in here. Orlando says McGriff, Schilling, Bonds. That's interesting. My 3 votes from Carlisle Rude, McGriff, Murphy, Schilling. Interesting.
He's a Braves fan. I wouldn't vote for Murphy, and I love the Braves.
Yeah. McGriff bouncing around, I think, hurt him some, maybe. That's not an unfair statement. This is absolutely true. Max Duggan, quarterback for TCU. If you watched that game yesterday, you saw what he might end up winning the Heisman, honestly. All right, so we're getting into this. You see the list of candidates there on the screen. This is like Christmas morning for me. It's it's for guys like the guys on this and Bill and other Hall of Fame guy, any Hall of Fame guy. If you like the Hall of Fame, you love this. You want to see the Hall of Fame, celebrate the history of the game and put the great players, recognize those great players for their accomplishments. So,
real quickly, why are you anti-Schilling? I mean,
I'm not
ignoring the politics for a second.
I'm not anti-Schilling. I think he should absolutely get in. I'm going to put Bonds and Clemens are way better than Schilling.
Yeah, I can see steroids aside where you're coming from.
And I think McGriff he was overlooked for so long.
Agreed.
And then I would put Schilling in on if I had 4 votes, Schilling would be my 4th vote.
Can I ask you a question real quick before they jump on? Mike, who should be a Hall of Famer? You had unlimited votes. Anyone not in the Hall of Fame? You're a big Hall guy.
That are currently not in?
Of these 8 players right now.
Palmeiro's a Hall of Famer, no question. I would absolutely vote for Palmeiro. I would vote for Albert Bell just because I saw him play. He's kind of the Ralph Kiner to me kind of theory is really great for you could use Koufax as another example. So I can't remember the rest of the list. I'm having a hard time. Murphy's a no for me. Mattingly's a no for me. I guess I could just watch the screen and see who's all being shown here, but again, very good players. Very good. I'd take any of their careers. Mattingly, Murphy, right? But
I mean, someone said earlier, like Mattingly was the player of the 80s. He didn't debut until 84, 83. I mean,
yeah.
The only 3 on the list from this ballot that I wouldn't vote for, that's easier for me to do. I would not vote for Murphy. I would not vote for Mattingly, and I wouldn't vote for Bell. But I'm big on milestone longevity, that kind of thing, where if you're a Bell guy, you've got to be a peak type Hall of Fame guy.
That's a good point. I mean, I think if Bell, you look at Trout could retire right now because for 6 years he's been the best player on the planet. Bell was never that.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And so if you're going to do it short, you got to be like Koufax good. That's a fair point.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I mean, steroids aside, I think Palmeiro, Clemens, and Bonds would have been in already. There's no question about it.
Welcome, Barry. But we got a first-time commenter. Welcome to the chaos here.
Wow. Thank you.
I I hate to be the what if guy. I hate playing that game with any player, but I will use it because he's a Brave in this one instance. But if it wasn't for the 94 strike, I feel pretty confident McGriff would have hit 7 more home runs.
Yep.
And we'd never be having this conversation. He would have been in a decade ago.
Agreed. 100%.
He would have got to the magical 500 and slam dunk.
Bell was the scariest dude for a couple of years. Big Hurt worried you. Bell was terrifying. He's right. Bart.
Yeah, that was a couple of years, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. Here's our historians and Susan Slusser. Why does that name sound familiar to me?
Not sure.
I think we should be on the. I seriously, we should advocate for the committee.
I know a Ford Frick winner, Tom Gage. I know him personally. I call him a friend, and he's been trying to get on this committee. They just call you. You have to be distinctly invited to get on this. So it's not easy.
I know Murphy had 2 MVPs. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I get it.
So did Juan Gonzalez.
That's right. And I actually think Gonzalez should be a Hall of Famer. But
we won't go down that road.
I do too.
You do?
I do.
Wow. Right. See, that's the wonderful thing about the Hall of Fame is let me go live to this guy. Hang on. Okay. That's Josh. We got Josh coming.
And thankfully, Derek, my old colleague, my old boss at the Diamondbacks, came through.
Is he always the backup guy?
He is not always the backup. Did not mean it that way, Derek. Sorry.
Hey, so let me ask you, the committee, how do you guys select who gets picked? Like
we were just talking about this.
Greg Maddux.
Yeah.
What guys get selected? How does that come about?
So what we try to do is put together 16 people who are open-minded. They aren't necessarily deeply connected to any one candidate. You don't want it to be very obvious who they're going to vote for. And so you look at Hall of Famers who played around the same time.
We got 100 people watching. Thank you guys. Y'all are watching us watch television. Thank you for joining.
And who are open-minded, and that's really what I think the room did today was talk about all 8 candidates in a really great way.
Let's get a good
Did anybody get swayed, do you think, through the conversations?
If I could tell you what happened in the room, I would, but I am not in a position to do that.
God, that would be so awesome to hear the conversation in that room.
You have to imagine Hall of Fame
pay
players
so much
are.
money to hear that.
It is sad news that just days ago that Cooperstown lost one of its own in the great Gaylord Perry.
Yeah, we all know Gaylord passed
pitcher,
away.
Tremendous person, and was actually laid to rest today in his hometown.
He was a North Carolinian.
South Carolina, and
Tar Heel.
you know, you think of just on a day like today where we're going to celebrate something like this, you also then take a moment to think about what an amazing career, an amazing person, all the lives he touched, and truly one of the greatest pitchers that ever lived. R.I.P.
Gaylord.
You know, I was fortunate to be around him in 82, 83. I was in the minor leagues and then the big leagues, and he was in Seattle. And
So real quick, we're going to watch this and see who they announce. Then we will kind of just have this in the background muted, and then we'll talk through who got in and cards and autographs and all sorts of cool stuff. So
hopefully they'll put out the vote count right away. Sometimes they do.
Well, I'll leave this up in the background and we can just watch it, you know, to just be there. And if we see something interesting,
Sitting by, waiting to hear their name called. You have the live announcement for us. Go ahead.
I do. Well, on behalf of Hall of Fame Chairman Jane Forbes Clark and our board of directors, the Contemporary Baseball Era Players Committee that convened today, it's time to reveal the results of today's election. Today marks the first of 2 announcements to determine who's going to comprise the class of 2023.
I'll get to it.
As the Baseball Writers Association of America will be casting ballots throughout the month of December. The results of that process will be revealed right here on MLB Network on January 24th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And as you noted just a little bit ago, the Contemporary Baseball Era Voting Committee was comprised of historians and longtime writers, Steve Hurt, Lavelle Neal, and Susan Slusser, respected baseball executives Paul Beeston, Theo Epstein, Derek Hall, Artie Moreno, Kim Ang, Dave St. Peter, and Ken Williams, and Hall of Famers Greg Maddux, Jack Morris, Brian Sandberg, Lee Smith, Frank Thomas, and Alan Trammell. The 16-member committee spent this morning reviewing the distinguished group of 8 players whose career achievements were most significant after 1980. The 8 candidates, as you know, who comprised the ballot included Albert Bell, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Don Mattingly, Fred McGriff, Dale Murphy, Rafael Palmeiro, and Curt Schilling. And now it is my honor to reveal if any candidates will be celebrated in Cooperstown next July 23rd, when the Hall of Fame induction ceremony will be seen right here on MLB Network and taking place in Cooperstown. The Contemporary Baseball Era Players Committee has elected one new member to the Hall of
McGriff.
Fame.
It's got to be
The
McGriff.
newest member of the Hall of Fame class of 2023, elected unanimously with 16 votes, played 19 seasons with the Blue Jays, Padres.
Let's freaking go!
Cubs, Dodgers,
Unanimous.
Tampa Bay Devils.
Wow.
Becoming the first player to hit 30 home runs for 5 different teams.
It's no longer a crime,
Five-time
dog.
and 3-time Silver Slugger Award winner at first base. He finished his career with 493 home runs and is one of just 4 players to lead both the American League and the National League in homers in a single season. Nicknamed the Crime Dog, he drove in 100 or more runs in 8 different seasons and finished in the top 10 in his league's Most Valuable Player Award voting 6 different times. He batted .303 in 50 playoff games over 5 postseason appearances, capturing 2 National League championships and the 1995 World Series championship with the Atlanta Braves. Fred McGriff, welcome to Cooperstown.
Wow.
The Crime Dog is finally happening.
Okay. So thoughts, initial reaction, not shocking, right?
No, I'm glad. I'm really happy for Fred McGriff. I really am happy.
Yeah. Jake?
As a Braves fan, I mean, I'm very excited. Quick fun fact, that 95 World Series Braves team now had 6 people elected in the Hall of Fame from that team.
Including
Is there any
Shearholtz?
other- What's that?
Including Shearholtz?
7 if you count Shearholtz. I don't know if any other modern era team has that. That's pretty
Cox?
impressive.
Are you counting Bobby Cox?
Yep. You got the trio of pitchers. You got Chipper. You got McGriff, Cox, and Shearholtz.
I'm just thinking the 75 Reds right now. It's going through my head. It's the first one that goes through my head. Then the 27 Yankees, obviously.
Sure.
Phil says, how did Manny Ramirez? The Hall continues to be a joke. What do you mean by that, Tom? I agree Schilling should be in. Like, there's no question.
I'm very curious when the votes come out how he didn't make it.
They do release them, don't they?
Yes, they will release them, 100%.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a collector, McGriff thankfully only has 1 rookie card. It's the 86 Donruss. What do I have here? A 9. So I love, because now I get to move him from the star pile to the Hall of Famer pile. And my Fred McGriff, I have tons of his autographs, but my graded autograph is an old, what is this? Tribute, I think. Nope, tier 1. Number to 50 on card. I need to get his. Does he have any 5-star autographs, Jake?
2013.
Okay. I actually think I have that. So that's good. If I don't, I need to go buy it like right now.
That means I stay 100% on the 2013 5-star autographs for Hall of Famers. I've got McGriff, so.
Everybody's going on right now and buying them out from under me.
Yeah, for real.
Try to resell them to me at a inflated price. Let's see if there's any on there.
I'm just looking at the comments right now. A lot of people are not pro Fred McGriff. I don't understand why.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, come on, guys. He was unanimous. Okay, 16 people in that room all thought, and there was kind of a lean towards the Braves. I'm not going to lie there. But, I mean, still 16 out of 16 is a lot. I get being upset with Harold Baines, but, oh, here we go. Oh, wow. Manny.
Whoa.
Manly got 8. Wow.
And all others less than 4. That means Bonds,
Clemens,
Palmeiro.
They may never get in the Hall of Fame.
I
ever.
agree.
I mean, when Dale Murphy gets more than Barry Bonds, that's a problem.
Unless you're anti-steroids.
Wow.
Are you guys surprised by that?
Yeah. I'm surprised by Schilling. I really am.
Yeah, this isn't even close. Like the other guys aren't even close.
No, 50%. Well, no, wait. Yeah, 50% was Mattingly. I'm surprised Mattingly got 50.
I'm pretty shocked that Clemens and Bonds got less than 4. I mean,
wow.
I've been anti-steroids for a long time, but I did not expect their first result to be that low.
Me neither.
Part of me says, although I understand Ortiz is in, I'm kind of glad the vote went the way it did, with the exception of Schilling.
Yeah, this is. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on all the. Yeah, his peers are I mean, I'm just reading.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all know why Bonds and Clemens didn't get any votes. That doesn't make it right. Just
Right.
Golly.
Bill Hall of Fame collector, I agree with you, man.
I agree. I agree. There were some New York writers on that ballot, obviously, and maybe some of his former players. I don't know.
All-time hits, home runs, and Cy Young awards and MVPs are not in the Hall of Fame.
What?
So no Rose, no Bonds, no Clemens. All of them.
Very good. Yeah, but I mean, tainted.
Yeah, Schilling got cancel cultured. A little bit of wokeness there.
Yep.
Wow. I'm thrilled for McGriff. I think he deserves it. I'm happy he's a Hall of Famer. But wow. I wonder if it mattered. It doesn't look like it mattered that there were only 3 votes.
What do you mean? Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah.
No, if everyone else would have got another vote, maybe Mattingly gets it. I don't know. So, no, it doesn't. You're right. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That's a great call.
Well, even it's with Mattingly getting 9, how many was he still short? Is that 3 short?
No, he
still?
got 8.
He got 8.
8 sorry. 4 short. So
how many votes
total? The committee.
So if there were 16 people times 3 votes, that's 48 votes total.
Correct.
So 16 went to
McGriff, leaving 32.
Let's do some quick math. So that brings us down to 32. Mattingly got 8. Who got 7? Schilling got 7?
Yeah.
Or Murphy got 6.
That leaves 11 votes amongst everyone else.
Right. So I think everybody did vote for 3. That would make sense.
Possibly. You don't know. They say 3 or under just to keep your for example, Frank Thomas may have only voted for 1 person. I mean, he is so anti-steroids, which is a right to be. So wow, just really. So I mean, speaking to the autograph people out there, McGriff was doing shows left and right for $40 a pop. I expect him to stay on the circuit, double a price to about 80. So I can't speak for his cards right now. You can look on eBay and see what those are going for.
Yeah, his 86 Donruss is actually worth $100, I think, at a 9 is what I was looking at yesterday, because I was looking for a signed one. I wanted to go ahead and buy a signed one because I have Schilling is also one of he's got his 89 Donruss, and then I have his 89 Donruss autographed. But I didn't have the McGriff. I only have his rookie card. And there aren't any on eBay. Like, I couldn't find any. There might be, people will put them out now at crazy high buy it now prices, but what I tell people is right after Hall of Fame announcement, wait.
Yeah.
Be really patient here. You don't need to go out and buy all this stuff right now. Just wait a couple months. I promise you the excitement will die down and prices will come down accordingly.
Yeah, the only thing I would say also, people that he'll never get in. I thought Baines would never get in. It really comes down to a lot to the composition of those 16 members. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. When you get those 16 members in the room, people can be swayed. There's Baines and like Rick Farrell, the 2 that come to mind right away, that there's no question that 16 committee people in that room really got some people into the Hall of Fame, getting into avoiding the cronyism of the 70s. So just because they didn't get in this time, I mean, you get in a room next time with like Randy Johnson and who knows. I'm assuming Shilley's on the ballot again, which I think him and Mattingly both deserve to get in. If I had to guess right now, they won't get in at least for another 6 years. You won't see their names again, though.
So here's the question. What is this on Hall of Fame autographs? Bill's asking. He's at 284, which is, oh, by the way, bananas. Awesome. What is your number now, Frank?
291.
Jake?
141.
We need to let you go grow up a little. No, I'm just kidding.
He just had a kid. Let him go.
Yeah, come on. I'm also I'm like a decade behind of collecting from you guys. Come on.
This puts me at 256. number of Hall of Famers.
When for everybody out there to give them an idea of how impressive y'all's numbers are, I have Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb, and these guys above me have over double my Hall of Fame autographs. So think about that for a second.
Yeah, it's a fun chase though. I mean, trying to find guys, and Frank's obviously he's been amazing in terms of helping me and Bill. Bill would say this too.
And Jake.
Yeah. You're a great resource for us and a great, just man, love talking to you about it and stuff like that. So now we go to, so that's the era committee's over. We've got the writer's ballot coming out, all this month. Everybody, has he started tracking yet? Has the tracker?
Yeah, he has. Ryan started tracking already. Yeah.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know, there's a baseball hall. You can just literally Google Baseball Hall of Fame tracker and it'll bring up his tracker. It's fantastic. And
it's called Not Mr. Tibbs on Twitter.
Yep.
His name's Ryan Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Do we want to guess now already for January, or is it too soon?
We'll do a whole nother episode on that.
Okay. Bill, you better get healthy by then.
Yeah, for real.
If you want to get, I tried to get, I know, I think Ray is in here. I tried to call Ray from Philly to see if he would join us, but he didn't want Scott Rowland chances.
Scott Rowland won't get in.
No.
We're not talking about that yet.
I'm just reading a comment. Scott Rowland won't get in.
Yeah, we're just reading. Man.
How many don't exist? Autographs. Looking at Otto's comment. 1, Frank Grant. Only one that's impossible for Hall of Famers.
Oh, here's a great question. What hat will McGriff wear? Chopping out there, Jake. Chopping. Didn't he play for the Yankees for a second? Did McGriff play for the Yankees?
McGriff played 5 years in order, most to least. He played 5 years in Tampa Bay, Atlanta, and Toronto.
Okay.
He's got 3 years in San Diego, 2 in Chicago, and 1 in LA for the Dodgers. So
Chicago Cubs. Okay.
Yes, the Cubs. Sorry.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe he wears the Devil Ray hat.
He's going to wear the Braves hat. He still does work with the Braves, and my guess is the Hall of Fame picks. In case you don't know, there was a big controversy. Someone by the name, I believe, Wade Boggs, sold his hat to the Devil Rays as part of his contract, and they said, "Well, hold on, right now. From now on, the Hall of Fame gets to pick your hat. You can have a say where you want it to go, but it's got to be approved by the Hall." So just a quick FYI there. So I'm going to guess the Braves because he's still with the Braves right now in some capacity.
And he won his title there.
Yep.
But I'm still bitter that Maddox went in with no logo.
Right.
Yeah, he may do that.
Yeah, McGriff might do that.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we've been on a little over half an hour. The Cowboys are playing, so I want to go watch a football game.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
Yeah, this was fun to do it this way. We'll do it again we should just do this for every Hall of Fame announcement. I mean,
100%.
Why not?
I'm in.
Let you guys join in. Thanks everybody for watching, and have a good one. Keep collecting. Hall of Famers. Go Fred McGriff. He's in. See you guys.